Welcome to Curno Fishing. I'm Luke. I'm going to be one of the co-makers of Curno Fishing. Just thought I'd be here today just to explain a little bit about what the show is going to be. We're going to have a few tutorials, some live action, and we're going to get into depths with some of the real Cornish fishermen. We're going to do coarse fishing, sea fishing, fly fishing, cover different local areas, different rivers, different lakes. Today we're here at Par Beach. It's one of my favourite spots for rock hopping. Get some nice winter bass down here this sort of time of the year. You can get a few codling around. Okay, basically, when you're in sort of rough locations like this, the swell from the sea will be hitting your line, and your rod, as you see, will just be bouncing every now and then. It'd be quite a slow bounce, sort of like that, which is not really to worry about. The only time you want to worry about it is when you get a constant bounce. You see the rod be going mental. That's when you know you got a bite. It's very deceiving, the sea can be, and sometimes at night, if you're night fishing and stuff and you can't really see the rod properly, you think you got a bite, you'll be winding into it, you realise you got nothing. It's not the end of the world, at least you can check your bait. Okay, just going to talk you through a few of the baits I'm using today. I'm using squid and I'm using mackerel. Both really nice smelly baits. When you're sort of in these sort of locations, you want it to be as smelly as possible so the fish can see it. We've got quite a rough day today, so you know, everything's being kicked up from the bottom, you've got weed floating around, so it needs to be stinky for them to see it and smell it. When I fish locations like this, when they're quite rocky, you've got a lot of chance of getting snagged and your line breaking. What I tend to do is just use a really basic rig. I normally just use a weight and a hook. Keep it as simple as possible. A lot of people use pulley rigs as well, which is another great thing if you've got the time and can be bothered to make that rig up. With my sort of rig I'm using, if it goes snap, you've only lost a weight and a hook. You know, you can use complicated rigs if you want. It just depends whether you've got the money or the time to, you know, to make those rigs or to buy those rigs. When I'm baiting up, I like to use a cocktail. My squid and mackerel, which I said about earlier. I start off, take a nice sliver of mackerel. Be generous with it. Hook it in once, hook it in twice. Make sure you got a nice flap at the bottom so the fish can see it. Take a nice bit of squid. Nice piece like that. Now, most people will do it differently, and you see other people doing it different ways. You see them hook the squid as well. What I like to use is bait elastic. You can pick this up in the shops for a couple of quid and it will last you absolutely years. It just goes on and on and on. And it's friendly to the environment as well, which is, you know, also very important. Okay, so you got your mackerel, you got your squid. It can be a little tricky to do if you haven't done this before. What you do is you're just wrapping your squid around the mackerel, you're taking your bait elastic and you're binding them together. The tighter you pull with the bait elastic, the better it's going to stay on, it's going to grip to it. Okay, make sure your hook's a little bit exposed, and there you have one nice bait any fish cannot resist. When you're casting on rocky locations like this, you don't need to be pouting it out miles. The fish are going to be anywhere. You know, I've cast out before and I've missed casts and I thought I'll leave it there, and I've had some of my best fish that way. You don't need to be pouting out 200-300 yards. On a rocky location like this, 50 yards is probably enough. So, you know, let's give it a go. Let's see how it goes. You can see all that was about 50 yards, and that's absolutely plenty. It's very important to keep your tension on the line as well when you're looking for bites. You want your tension. Make sure when it's rough like this, you let the weight roll around for a little bit. And you can easily check your tension either by looking at it, or if it's dark, you can just pull on your line and you can see it moves. So if you do get a bite, you've got a clear indication you've got a fish on. Another nice way to fish on the rocks is using floats. It's a bit rough today to use the floats, that's why we've gone for the bottom. Nice big float like that, a luminous tip on the top. It can really make a nice difference. You can get all sorts with sort of floating. You can get pollock, mackerel, even known to get a bass off a float now and then. Another nice way is using some sort of lure or jelly or spinning. You can see it just imitates a real fish, and it can be absolutely deadly if you use it at the right time in the right way.
Thank you for watching Curnow Fishing. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you would like to feature on the show, then please get in contact with us at cornishlivingtv.com.